Hello everyone, warm welcome to Super Coaching Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in the next session. Unfortunately, last class का session conduct नहीं हो पाया था because of some unavoidable reasons. तो उम्मीद करते हैं कि ऐसे कोई reasons आज नहीं होंगे. Everything is going to be really very fine. Ceiling is not going to fall down today and we will be completing this session in much detail. So before we start the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. I welcome you all in the finance current affairs where we'll cover the finance current affairs from 4th to 6th of April 2025. और अगर मैं कहूँ कि आज का जो हमारा सेशन है that is going to be really very important. Again, today we are going to discuss an RBI. Today we are going to discuss RBI circular which is going to hold an importance for next an year or so. तो अगले 1-1.5-2 साल के लिए ये जो आज का सर्कुलर है, it's also going to hold a great importance. So without any further delay, let's begin the discussion. May I have a yes sir, may I have a thumbs up in the comment section that yes, we are good to go so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. Quickly everyone. ठीक है, तो I'll just give you an overview first that what this circular is all about and then we will be discussing this in much detail, but I would request you if possible do take a pen and paper with you, and if you are holding a pen and paper with you in this particular session तो उससे फायदा ये होगा कि after the completion of this session the paper which you are going to have that will hold the entire session discussion. Otherwise you have to go through with 40 to 42 slides to cover the same news. So I request you bring your pen and paper and get ready. Let's begin the discussion. Before I start my discussion, if you want to download the PDF of this session, guys, the PDF of this session will be available on my Telegram channel. So this is the Telegram channel. You just follow the Telegram channel in order to download the PDF and you can even scan the code to reach to the Telegram channel for sure. ठीक है जी, चलो. Moving on to the starting of this discussion. So today we are going to discuss a master discussion obviously presented by Reserve Bank of India, and this master direction which we are going to discuss today, it is based on or it is related to the interest rate on deposits. We all know that we have different types of deposit facilities which are offered by the banks, which include saving account, current account, fixed deposit, recurring deposit. So these deposits which are accepted by the bank, these are basically the liabilities on the bank, and bank is liable to pay interest on these liabilities. Now RBI has come up with master directions which are need to be followed by all the commercial banks as well as the other banks which are going to provide deposit facility to the public. So let's get started. So the first point from where I'm going to begin this discussion is, so interest rate on deposit, this is going to be applicable on which all banks? So this master direction, it is applicable on scheduled commercial banks as well as it is applicable on regional rural banks. Along with that it is applicable on small finance bank, payment banks as well as your local area banks, and even it is applicable on the cooperative banks which include primary urban cooperative banks, then state cooperative banks, district cooperative banks. Remember, scheduled commercial banks basically include public sector banks, that is government owned banks, private banks as well as the foreign banks. So on all these banks, these directions which we are going to discuss today are going to be applicable. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया ये पॉइंट? आई होप दिस पॉइंट इज क्लियर टिल दिस स्पॉट. अब सबसे पहली चीज सर, इस पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन को कवर कैसे करना? तो इस पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन को कवर करने का एक बहुत सिंपल तरीका है विच वी विल बी फॉलोइंग टुडे. एंड व्हाट इज दैट form, or I would say the method to cover this particular session. So the method to cover this particular session is on one slide, open up a free slide, open up a free page for you and keep on writing along with me ताकि जब ये सेशन खत्म हो तो आपके पास पूरे का पूरा डिस्कशन एक जगह पर क्लोज डाउन हो जाए. ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले तो हम ये देखते हैं कि जब भी कभी हम बैंक के डिपॉजिट्स की बात करते हैं, वी क्लासिफाई द बैंक डिपॉजिट्स इनटू डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज. So what all these categories are, and then we will be moving ahead and I will be discussing all the discussions or all the directions to the respective one. So when we talk about bank deposits, so we have two types of deposit. One we call it as demand deposit. One we call it as demand deposit, and the other one we call it as what? So the other one we call it as term deposit. But in both the cases, I'm talking about which kind of deposits, and I'm talking about domestic currency deposits by residents. I hope this is clear to you. Which means कि sir जो deposit किया गया in the domestic currency, obviously that is rupees, INR, but this rupees deposit is done by you and me, that is the resident of the country. So we have different types of deposit accounts. So the first deposit account we have is that is savings account. Second deposit account we have is that is current account. Then the next deposit account we have is that is fixed deposit. And the next deposit account we have is that is recurring deposit. So first I'll write some basic things which are going to be common. Some basic things which are going to be common for all the accounts. So if I talk about the interest wala part, so the interest which is going to be paid, on these deposits, these interest rates are going to be decided by the board of the bank or by the board of the directors of the bank. So first point कि भैया rate of interest कौन decide करेगा? Sir, rate of interest board द्वारा decide किया जाएगा, and this rate of interest is going to be decided not only for saving account but it will be decided for saving, current as well as fixed deposit accounts. ठीक है जी. दूसरा पॉइंट यहां पर ये है कि सर ये जो इंटरेस्ट रेट डिसाइड किए जाएंगे, these interest rate will be paid on regular intervals. That is really very important. So I'll just show you what I'm trying to do. मैं आपको दिखा देता हूं मैं करना क्या चाह रहा हूं. ध्यान से देखो. अगर हम बात करें डिस्कशन की, तो सबसे पहला ये जो पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन है, सर दिस डायरेक्शन इज गोइंग टू बी एप्लीकेबल और दिस डायरेक्शन इज ऑलरेडी एप्लीकेबल ऑन द बैंक्स सिंस द मास्टर डायरेक्शन वाज आउट. तो अगर कोई पूछे कि क्या ये वाला पार्ट इंप्लीमेंट हो चुका है, यस सर, इट हैज बीन इंप्लीमेंटेड इवन आफ्टर द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन. HDFC as well as Yes Bank, these two banks, they have already revised the interest rate they are offering on their fixed deposits. So directions provide a framework for the banks. These directions are basically for the banks, which the banks will follow certain steps in order to formulate their policies on interest rates on the deposit. So now this direction is very important for the banks because on the basis of these directions, bank will be framing their interest rate policies in the near future. ठीक है जी. अब ये किस बैंक्स के ऊपर एप्लीकेबल है? तो आई वुड से इट इज एप्लीकेबल ऑलमोस्ट ऑन ऑल द बैंक्स व्हिच इंक्लूड शेड्यूल्ड कमर्शियल बैंक्स, दैट इज पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स, प्राइवेट बैंक, फॉरेन बैंक्स. इट इंक्लूड RRB, स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक, पेमेंट बैंक्स, लोकल एरिया बैंक्स एंड इवन इट इंक्लूड द कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स एज वेल. अब पहला पॉइंट देखो क्या कहता है. पहला पॉइंट जनरल है. इट इज जनरल फॉर ऑल द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ deposits. What does this say? It says there shall be a comprehensive policy on interest rate on deposits duly approved by the board of directors. So you have to frame the policy for the interest rate and it is ought to be approved by the board of directors. This is the first point in general. Second point is the rate shall be uniform across all the branches for all the customers. No discrimination in matter of interest should be done. No discrimination is need to be done or no discrimination should be done by the bank in terms of payment of the interest rate. In terms of payment of the interest rate, no discrimination is need to be done. So this is going to be the second point. So what is going to be the second point as we are noting down here? So the second point says interest rate decided by the board. Interest rate is going to be decided by the board of directors of the bank. Second point is no discrimination should be made in terms of setting the rate of interest. So no discrimination will be done between the depositors, as well as uniform policy, as well as uniform interest rate for all branches. Uniform interest rate for all branches. ठीक है जी? Are you getting my point? Moving on to the next statement. The third condition under the direction is interest rates payable on deposits shall be strictly as per the schedule of interest rate disclosed in advance. So bank will be paying the interest rate, and bank will decide, or bank will disclose in advance that in what regular manner the interest rate is going to be credited into the depositor's account. The rate shall not be subject to negotiation between the depositor as well as bank. Interest rate offered shall be reasonable, consistent, transparent. समझ आ गई ये बात? अब यहां पर देखो, in general interest rate से related क्या क्या? पहला, सब bank will decide the interest rates, and these interest rates are going to be decided for all the accounts. These interest rates are going to be decided for all the accounts by whom? So these interest rate will be decided by all the accounts, or by for all the different types of deposits by the board of directors. So these interest rates are going to be paid regularly, and the regular intervals are going to be disclosed by the bank only. Bank पहले दिन बता देगा कि sir, if you are opening a saving account with us, we will be crediting the rate of interest on quarterly basis. So it will be discussed, it will be disclosed in advance. Third point is, no discrimination shall be made between the depositors. Uniform interest rate for all branches. Next point is no negotiation. That means you cannot negotiate. No negotiation can be done between the bank and depositor. So bank and depositor, they cannot negotiate. Bank ऐसा, depositor ऐसा नहीं कह सकता कि सर प्लीज थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट और दे दो ना, 3% नहीं सर, प्लीज मेक इट 3.10%. That is not possible. You are not hiring a taxi or rickshaw that you can negotiate with respect to the interest rate. That is not allowed. And the interest rate which bank is going to pay, that should be its calculation should be transparent, and an appropriate value of interest rate is need to be paid. समझ आ गई ये बात? ये पहले 5 पॉइंट्स है, नोट डाउन कर लेना. If someone asks you, as per the latest RBI master direction, who will decide the interest rate? RBI? No sir. Interest rate will be decided by the board of directors of the bank itself. That means bank has the power to independently decide the deposit rates. Second is, sir, interest rate will be paid on regular intervals, and these intervals will be pre-disclosed. Second is, no discrimination will be made between the depositors in terms of interest payment, and uniform interest rate will be paid from all the branches of the same bank. Last is, no negotiation can be done between the bank as well as the depositor. Is it clear till this point? This is the first thing which we need to remember. Now let's move on to the next point. The next point we have is a deposit maturing on non-business working day for the commercial bank. So if I talk about a commercial bank, and in case of a commercial bank, let's say you have an FD, and this FD is going to mature on Sunday. If this FD is going to mature on Sunday, then in that particular case, which is a non-business working day for the commercial bank, so if a term deposit is maturing for payment on a non-business working day, bank shall pay the interest at the originally contracted rate on the originally principal deposit amount for the non-business working day. Simple है सर. क्या बात है? अगर आपका डिपॉजिट वैल्यू 10 लाख रुपीज है और आपका जो डिपॉजिट है फिक्स डिपॉजिट दैट इज ऑफ 10 years, और अगर हम कहें कि सैटरडे वाज द लास्ट वर्किंग डे और आज संडे है, एंड टुडे इट इज गोइंग टू मैच्योर, and if your FD is going to mature today, you cannot withdraw it. You will be obviously withdrawing on Monday, so bank will pay the rate of interest of this Sunday as well. तो बैंक will pay the rate of interest, और वो rate of interest किस पे पे होगा? प्रिंसिपल पे या अमाउंट पे? सर it will be charged, it will be calculated on the principal, not on the amount. क्योंकि हो सकता है 10 सालों में जो टोटल प्रिंसिपल प्लस इंटरेस्ट है, लेट्स सपोज वो 20 लाख हो गया हो, दिस इज द अमाउंट. सो इंटरेस्ट ऑफ संडे, interest of only Sunday will be paid on 10 lakh. Let's say interest is 10% per annum. So what will be the interest? So 10 lakh into 10% per annum. This is for 1 year. What will be for 1 day? So this will be 1 divided by 365. So this value of interest rate will be added in this amount and this amount will be paid on Monday. This amount will be paid on Monday. बोलो समझ आ गई बात? Clear हो गया ये point? बहुत important है. Question can be asked. Second point क्या कहता है? The second point says in case of reinvestment deposits. How many of you know this? Reinvestment deposits? इस पे बात करेंगे. What is reinvestment के केस में? What will be the conditions? But my question is very simple to you. What is reinvestment deposits? Have you ever heard this term? Reinvestment deposit. Say yes or no. Quickly. If you don't know, then don't worry. Please pay attention on the screen. If someone asks me what is reinvestment deposit, so reinvestment deposit basically allows you to reinvest the interest earned on your deposit. What does it mean? It means that you are earning a regular interest on your deposit. For example, you have a fixed deposit, that is FD, and bank is paying you the interest on annual basis. हर साल 10 लाख रुपए का प्रिंसिपल है आपका, उस पे 10% इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है, that is 10% per annum, which makes it 1 lakh rupees. So bank is paying you 1 lakh rupees as an interest. तो बैंक हर साल इंटरेस्ट आपको दे देता है. The interest has been credited into your account. So rather than using that interest for your expenditure and other purposes, you can reinvest the same interest and you can sign an agreement or you can sign a contract with the bank itself that I want to have reinvestment deposit plan. So reinvestment deposit plan basically allows you to reinvest the interest earned on your deposit. Now you must be worried कि sir, in case of fixed deposit, bank क्या करेगा? Will bank pay the principal as well as interest at the time of maturity after 10 years, or bank will only pay principal at the time of maturity and interest is paid on regular basis? Then I would say there are both the options which are allowed by the bank. You can go and you can ask for both the options. If you want interest payment to be done regularly, that can be also done. If you want that interest should be paid along with principal at the time of maturity and your interest is added into the principal and principal is compounded every year, that is also allowed. So in this particular case, if you choose the option to reinvest, your interest, that is known as reinvest deposit plan. So individual trader, self-employed, everyone is allowed to open this. Interest on your deposit also earns interest. So interest on your deposit will earn interest, which is interest on interest, and even you can avail loan on the same. What should be the minimum amount? That should be 1,000 and above that in multiples of 100. If I talk about the minimum time period, so minimum period is 6 months, maximum is 120 months, that is 10 years. Payment of interest, so quarterly, compounding and paid at the time of maturity. So here the interest on interest is compounded quarterly and it is paid at the time of maturity in one go. That means you will getting the entire interest at the time of maturity. So अगर आपके पास reinvestment, if you have a reinvestment deposit in that particular case, or in case of recurring deposit, I hope you all understand what is recurring deposit, that is RD. So RD basically means मैं बैंक के पास गया, मैंने बैंक को कहा sir I want to deposit 5 lakh rupees. Bank says please give us 5 lakh. I said I'm really very sorry sir, I don't have 5 lakhs. I will be depositing in the upcoming time period. Bank says okay. We offer you a recurring deposit account where we allow you to deposit 5 lakh rupees in next 5 years, which means I will be depositing 1 lakh every year, or maybe I will be depositing 1 lakh divided by 12 every month. So this amount which I am going to deposit every month, it will mature not only to 5 lakh because this is the principal, and along with this principal I will get interest at the time of maturity. So this type of deposit where you deposit on regular intervals but up to a fixed value till a fixed time period is known as recurring deposit. So in case of recurring deposit as well as reinvestment deposit, the day on which recurring deposit or reinvestment deposit was maturing, and if it is a non-business working day, then in that particular case interest of non-business working day will be paid on maturity value. Interest will be paid on maturity value. याद रहेगा? Is this point clear? I'll just note it down for you ताकि आपके पास लिखा हुआ हो. If I say in case of fixed deposit, which is maturing, fixed deposit maturing on non-business day, will attract what? Sir, will attract the interest rate on principal. Simple, interest rate on principal. But in case of RD as well as reinvestment deposits, as well as are lighted as RI, reinvestment deposit, it will attract interest of that non-working day on maturity value. So you have to, bank has to pay interest on the maturity value, not only on the principal. Are you getting my points, guys? Are you all present? Are you understanding what I'm discussing? Say yes or no. Otherwise, it's of no use. If you are not responding, if you are not active. Okay. Thank you so much if you are active and you are listening to me. Thank you. Chalo. Moving on to the next point. Now the next point says, sir, deposits maturing on Sunday, holiday or non-business working day for cooperative banks. In case of cooperative banks, what will be the scenario? Sir, in case of cooperative banks, same conditions are going to be followed. Which means in case of FD, interest will be paid on principal only. In case of recurring deposit and reinvestment deposit, in case of a cooperative bank, interest paid on maturity value. I guess it is clear, nothing to worry about. Moving on to the next. The next point is, so what is the consequence of transfer of branch of one commercial bank to the another commercial bank? What does it mean? What does it basically means? I hope you all remember. If I give you a practical discussion on this, when I was in 10th, my father opened a saving account for me, and it was in State Bank of Patiala. Later on, State Bank of Patiala was merged with State Bank of India, and the branch of State Bank of Patiala in which I was holding my account was closed, and my account was shifted to the nearby State Bank of India's branch. That is what they are talking about. What they say, deposit account transferred from one bank branch to the another bank branch on account of takeover of the bank branches in rural or semi-urban areas will follow the following conditions. So if I was having a fixed deposit account in State Bank of Patiala, for example, and now this bank has been overtaken by SBI. So deposit account shall be deemed to be transferred to the new bank and will continue to be governed by the terms of contract agreed to between the customer and the bank branch which is being takeover. तो अगर मेरे पास ये जो FD था या फिर any other deposit account था, this account will be shifted to SBI and I will enjoy same benefits. As earlier. Same rate of interest shall be payable till maturity on such transfer deposit as was payable at the time of takeover. So same rate of interest, same benefits will be enjoyed by me even if my branch, even if my bank has been taken over by the another commercial bank. Remember that. Now, this is very important. Now we'll talk about the interest rate on domestic deposits account. Now, if I talk about the interest rate on domestic deposit accounts, so in case of current account, so no rate of interest is paid. As per RBI allows the bank that if you are not paying any rate of interest, it's okay with me. RBI says if you are not paying any rate of interest, it is okay with me, nothing to worry. Second point is, let's suppose the current account is on the name of the individual. And after the death of the individual, then in that particular case, until and unless deposit is claimed, till the time deposit is claimed, obviously by the nominee, till the time deposit is claimed by the nominee, or I would say by the claimed by the nominee or by the legal here, till the time it is claimed, rate of interest will be paid. Rate of interest will be paid. Is it clear? Is it clear? I'll just make you understand what I'm trying to say. See, provided that balances lying in the current account standing in the name of the deceased individual, the one who has died, or the sole proprietorship concerned shall attract interest from the date of the death of the depositor till the date of repayment to the claimant, the one who is going to claim, at the rate of interest applicable to the saving account deposits, at the rate of interest which is applicable on the saving account deposit. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? So what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to say that in case of current account, no rate of interest is paid if individual is holding an account and he died. After the death of the individual, deposit is claimed by the nominee. So till the time deposit is claimed by the nominee, rate of interest will be paid, but this rate of interest will be equal to the saving account ROI. This rate of interest will be equal to the saving account ROI. Is this point clear or not? Just give me yes, sir. दूसरी तरफ, the second point we have is that is savings account. Now, if I talk about saving account, what is the condition for the saving deposit? Sir, interest on the saving deposit shall be calculated on daily basis, a uniform interest and differential rate of interest. Please pay attention. In case of savings account, please pay attention, guys. In case of savings account, what is going to be the condition? Sir, in case of savings account, firstly, rate of interest will be calculated on daily basis. How many of you are aware of this point, that rate of interest is calculated on daily basis, or what is the meaning of this? Simple example. Let's suppose today I opened up a deposit account with a bank, and today I have deposited 10,000 rupees in the bank account. So tomorrow when the bank system will switch on in the morning, so tomorrow morning, this is today, this is tomorrow. So when the bank system will switch on tomorrow, they will check my deposit value. If my deposit value today, before starting of the bank, before starting of the, or at the time of starting of the banking systems, my deposit is 10,000, then 10,000 on this 10,000 rupees, interest will be calculated for the previous day on the next day. Are you getting my point? Interest rate is calculated on for the previous day on the next day. यानी कि कल आपके अकाउंट में 10,000 था पूरा दिन, और आज उस 10,000 पे इंटरेस्ट देंगे. इंटरेस्ट कितना होगा सर? 10,000 आपका प्रिंसिपल है. लेट्स से 4% इज द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट वी आर ऑफरिंग फॉर अ ईयर. What will be the rate of interest for 1 day? So this is going to be the rate of interest for 1 day. So on savings account, interest rate is calculated on daily basis. Remember this, interest rate is calculated on daily basis. Is this clear? I'm pretty sure most of you have got to know this understanding, or most of you have understood this concept for the very first time, that what is the meaning of daily basis. Daily basis means on the rate of interest for the previous day. The rate of interest for the previous day is calculated on the next day. Rate of interest for the previous day is calculated on the next day. Remember that. So rate of interest will be calculated on daily basis. Second point is again important. What does the second point says? Second point says saving account with deposit up to 1 lakh. If your deposit value is up to 1 lakh on the day of calculation, then same ROI for all. Same ROI for all accounts. That means whether your deposit is 10,000 or maybe 20,000, maybe 40,000, maybe 99,000, same rate of interest will be paid by the bank. But if your deposit is greater than 1 lakh, if deposit is greater than 1 lakh even today, then for today itself, bank has a power to pay you a differential interest rate. Pay you a differential interest, that means to pay you a rate of interest higher than the general rate of interest. So I'll say R plus. So higher rate of interest is allowed by the bank or is allowed by RBI to its customer. I'll just read out for you. Now it will be clear. Interest rate on the domestic rupee deposit accounts should be calculated on daily basis. Uniform interest rate shall be set for the balances up to 1 lakh, irrespective of the amount in the account within this limit. Differential rate of interest may be provided for any end of the day saving, बैंक बैलेंस एक्सीडिंग 1 लाख. आज मेरे अकाउंट में 90,000 तो आपके अकाउंट में 10,000, हम दोनों को सेम रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. अगले दिन अगर मेरे अकाउंट में 1,10,000 है तो बैंक हैज द पावर टू पे मी extra rate of interest in comparison to the deposits of value below 1 lakh rupees. So this power is given. I'm not saying that bank is liable to do that. RBI is saying we are giving you the power. It's your choice. Do as per your will, as per your requirement. Got it? Moving on to the next point. The next point is, sir, what is the periodicity? What is the periodicity of interest payment? If I talk about the periodicity of interest payment, then remember that in case of savings account, interest will be credited on quarterly basis. Interest will be credited on quarterly basis. In case of scheduled commercial banks, it is at least quarterly basis. It is at least quarterly basis. That means at least once in a quarter, rate of interest is need to be credited in case of scheduled commercial bank. But in case of cooperative banks, your rate of interest will be credited after 1 quarter only. So your rate of interest will be credited after a quarter. So what I'm trying to say, it will be much clear. Interest rate on saving deposit shall be credited by the commercial banks at quarterly or shorter intervals. But in case of cooperative banks, it will be credited at quarterly or longer intervals. I hope this point is clear. And remember that interest rate will be credited to the frozen accounts as well. If your account is frozen because of any reason or some of the reasons, then also in that particular case, in the frozen accounts as well, bank is liable to credit the interest rate. Moving on to the next. So the next point we have is fixed deposit. Now I'm talking about term deposit, that is FD as well as RD. In case of FD and RD, so banks, they are free to decide the tenor of the deposit, and this deposit tenor is minimum 7 days and maximum 10 years. So in case of term deposit, so minimum tenure for the term deposit is 7 days and maximum is 10 years. Remember that bank has a power. To announce differential rate of interest on the bulk deposit. That means bank can offer high rate of interest on the bulk deposit. Now you must be wondering, what is a bulk deposit? Note down this point. This is really very important. What is bulk deposits? A single term deposits of rupee 3 crore and above. So if your deposit account is of value 3 crore and above, in case of scheduled commercial banks. Scheduled commercial bank means public sector banks, foreign banks, private banks, small finance banks. Then in that particular case, this will be termed as what? It will be termed as bulk rupee account or bulk deposit. If your deposit is of value greater than 1 CR, in case of RRBs as well as in case of local area banks, then also it will be termed as bulk deposit. If your deposit is greater than 1 crore and above, it is known as bulk deposit for tier 3 and tier 4 cooperative banks. And if your deposit is greater than 15 lakhs, it will be termed as bulk deposit in case of tier 1 and tier 2 cooperative banks. Is this point clear? This is the most expected question which can be asked by RBI in the phase 1 examination, that is the definition of bulk deposit. So a deposit is termed as bulk deposit if it is of value more than 3 crores in case of scheduled commercial banks, which include public sector banks, foreign banks, private banks, as well as small finance banks. If the deposit is above 1 crore, then it will be termed as bulk deposit in case of RRBs, local area banks, tier 3 and tier 4 cooperative banks. But if your deposit is of value greater than 15 lakhs, then it will be termed as bulk deposit only and only in case of tier 1 and tier 2 cooperative banks. Now you must be wondering, sir, what is the difference between tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cooperative banks? So please pay attention. Tier 1 cooperative bank means cooperative bank with public deposit up to 100 crores, cooperative bank with public deposit up to 1000 crores. So if I talk about tier 1 and tier 2, then your fixed deposit account with deposit more than 15 lakhs will be treated as bulk deposit. But in case of tier 3 and tier 4, where deposit is 1000 to 10,000 or more than 10,000 crore, then 1 crore and above deposit will be treated as bulk deposit. These things which you need to remember has been clearly mentioned on the screen. Are you enjoying the discussion, guys? Say yes or no. हाँ, इसमें याद करने लायक काफी चीजें हैं. You have to memorize many things in today's master direction. But if you'll try to note it down in this manner, the way I am writing it for you, this is going to help you a lot, and you will be able to, I would say, decode these 30-40 slides to just 2 to 3 A4 size sheets only. Done, guys? Shall I move ahead? Clear? Keep on replying, please, because it's full of theory topic today, and I need your active support so that I come to know that yes, you are listening to me and everything which I am discussing with you is crystal clear. If it is done, just give me yes. Okay, thank you, Akash. Moving on to the next point. Now, the next point from where I would like to start my discussion, or I would like to continue my discussion, is non-availability of premature withdrawal. What does it basically means? First of all, if I talk about FD and RD, in case of FD and RD, you need to remember that term deposit is allowed by the banks. Extra or differential rate of interest can be offered only on bulk deposit, and we have just discussed the definition of bulk deposit. Remember another thing, sir, in case of FD and RD, premature withdrawal is allowed. In case of FD and RD, premature withdrawal is allowed. That means if you are promising to deposit, or if you have come up with a fixed deposit for 10 years, but you want to withdraw it after 5 years, no one is going to stop you. So premature withdrawal is allowed. But if you are withdrawing before time, then penalty will be charged. And this penalty will be decided by board of directors. And this penalty will be charged on the rate of interest only. Bank has no power to charge penalty on the principal. Last point is, sir, if the premature withdrawal is done before 7 days, as we have discussed that the minimum timeline is 7 days for term deposit, 7 to 10 years. So in that case, if you are making the premature withdrawal before 7 days, then in that particular case, that means before minimum timeline, then no interest rate or no ROI will be paid in case of fixed deposit. No ROI will be paid in case of fixed deposit. I'll just read it out for you. Provided that all term deposit accepted by commercial banks from individuals for the amount of rupee 1 crore and below. So this premature withdrawal is allowed for deposit up to 1 crore. If your deposit value is greater than 1 crore, then in that particular case, premature withdrawal is not allowed. Secondly, provided that all term deposit accepted by the cooperative banks from HUF is again rupee 1 crore and below, will have premature withdrawal. So if you have a deposit of value up to 1 crore, then only premature withdrawal is allowed. If the deposit value is greater than 1 crore, then premature withdrawal is not allowed. Next point is, interest shall be paid at the rate applicable to the amount and the period for which the deposit remained with the bank, not the contracted rate. What does it mean? आपने 10 लाख रुपए का फिक्स डिपॉजिट अकाउंट ओपन किया for 10 years, और 10 years के रिस्पेक्ट में बैंक promised you to pay 10% per annum as the interest. But now you are making a premature withdrawal after 5 years. So if you are making a premature withdrawal after 5 years, then bank will pay you rate of interest which bank is offering today on 5-year deposits. So let's suppose if bank is offering 7% per annum on 5 years deposit, then 7% will be calculated on 10 lakhs and the amount will be credited into your account. So interest shall be paid at rate applicable to the amount and the period for which deposit remain with the bank. Got it? Next point. No interest, as I mentioned, no interest shall be paid where premature withdrawal of deposit takes place before completion of the minimum specified time period. Before the minimum specified time period. Moving to the next. So bank has a power that they can provide additional interest of 1% per annum over and above the rate of interest mentioned in the schedule of interest rates on saving or term deposit of banks, staff and their exclusive association, as well as on deposits of chairman, CEO and all. What does it mean? It means that bank can pay 1% extra rate of interest. 1% extra rate of interest on the deposits which are done by their employees. So if the deposits are done by the bank staff or their chairman, their managing director, their CEOs, their executive directors, 1% additional rate of interest can be applied by the bank. This 1% is the limit. Bank can go for 0.5, 0.25, 0.75, but 1% is the maximum limit up to which bank can go. In case of amalgamation, if there is an amalgamation of two banks, the additional interest rate is allowed if the interest at the contractual rate together with the additional interest rate do not exceed the rate which could have been allowed if such employee were originally employed by the bank. इसका मतलब समझ लो, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ पटियाला, ठीक है, स्टेट बैंक ऑफ पटियाला के एम्प्लॉय, he has opened up a fixed deposit account with State Bank of Patiala. Rate of interest offered was 8% plus 1%, that is 9%. That is 9%. Now this bank has been merged with SBI. This individual has become the employee of SBI. His FD belongs to SBI. So this account will attract 9% interest or the earlier interest only if it is allowed by SBI. If SBI allows 7 plus 1, that is 8% only, then in that particular case, this account will not attract 9, rather it will attract 8% as maximum allowed by the SBI. The maximum interest which is allowed by the SBI can be accepted, can be given to the amalgamated account from the amalgamated branch, from the amalgamated bank. I hope it's clear. Last point over here is in case of term deposit, bank at their discretion formulate term deposit schemes specifically for senior citizens. So bank has a power to come up with differential rate of interest scheme for these senior citizens, and no one is going to challenge bank in case of these benefits. No one is going to challenge bank in case of these services or these announcements. Next point is overdue deposit, overdue domestic deposit. What does it means? If a term deposit matures and proceeds are unpaid, the amount left unclaimed with the bank shall attract the interest rate as applicable on the savings account. This is really very important. You need to remember this point very carefully. Please pay attention, guys, what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that today your fixed deposit is matured. Okay, so today your fixed deposit is matured, but you have not made withdrawal of the same, and you may be withdrawing after 6 months. I'm just taking an example. So after 6 months, if you are withdrawing, you will be attracting a rate of interest for these 6 months, and this rate of interest for the 6 months will be equal to the rate of interest offered on saving account or the interest which is already offered on the fixed deposit, whichever is lower. We all know that whichever is lower means, आप खुद बताओ, rate of interest बैंक का saving account पे कम होगा या fixed deposit पे कम होगा? Obviously, so bank will pay a low rate of interest on saving account. So obviously saving account rate of interest यहाँ पर pay किया जाएगा. So do remember, if this question is asked, sir, in case of unclaimed deposit accounts, in case of unclaimed term deposit account, what will be the rate of interest paid after maturity? So the rate of interest which is going to be paid after maturity, it is equals to the saving account rate of interest offered by the same bank. Floating rate domestic term deposit. So floating rate domestic term deposit shall be linked to the directly observable and transferable market determined. So we know that when you go and open up a fixed deposit account, there could be two options. You go with fixed deposit or you may go with floating. Floating one should be very transparent and it should be linked to the market determined external benchmarks. But this point I think is more important than the second one. So remember that. Then if we talk about the individual who passed away, so rate of interest on the matured deposit standing in the name of deceased individual depositor or two or more joint depositors where one of the depositor has died shall be subject to condition let down. So if I talk about these conditions, so what will be the conditions over here? So the rate of interest which are going to be observed in case of death, that will be the same rate of interest as it was announced earlier. Same rate of interest as it was allowed earlier. So same interest rate will be offered in case of death of the individual, but in case of unclaimed saving account, equivalent rate of interest will be paid. Moving to the next. Penalty. What will be the penalty on premature withdrawal? As I discussed, there shall be a comprehensive policy which will be framed by Board of Directors on the penalty for the premature withdrawals. Components of the penalty should be brought to the notice of the depositor. So first is पेनल्टी कितनी होगी, कौन डिसाइड करेगा? बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स. जब आप अकाउंट ओपन करेंगे, एट द टाइम ऑफ ओपनिंग अप द अकाउंट, बैंक शुड ब्रिंग these penalties into your notice. अगर बैंक ने आपको नहीं बताया, the bank has signed या the form which you have filled at the time of opening up a fixed deposit account, or if on that form the conditions are not mentioned. What conditions? So the conditions related to penalty value, then you are not liable to pay those penalties. So remember that अगर notice में नहीं लिखा, आपके notice में नहीं लाया गया, you won't be responsible to pay those penalties as per the announcement. And last but not the least is, in case of splitting of amount of term deposit at the request of claimant of deceased depositor or joint account holder, no penalty for premature withdrawal of term deposit shall be charged if the period and aggregate amount is same. मान लो there are two individuals, 1 and 2, okay, they have opened up a term deposit account. Now one of the individual passed away. So second one said, let's split the fixed deposit. One fixed deposit shall be in another bank, another deposit should be in. Let's split the fixed deposit. पहले भी 10 लाख का डिपॉजिट था टोटल 10 साल के लिए, आज भी 10 लाख का ही है 10 साल के लिए, लेकिन उसे आपने दो में स्प्लिट कर दिया. तो इन केस ऑफ स्प्लिटिंग, not withdrawing, you are splitting your account, you are not withdrawing the deposit, that will be charging or that will be attracting no penalty in case of premature splitting of the account. समझ आ गई बातें? ये जो कंडीशंस मैंने आपको बताई हैं फॉर टर्म डिपॉजिट, ऑलमोस्ट सेम कंडीशंस विल बी एप्लीकेबल ऑन NRE, NRO and FCNR accounts as well. So अब जो मैं पढ़ाया है अभी तक, whatever we have discussed till now, it is going to complement us for the rupee deposit accounts which are opened by non-residents in India. So I hope you all remember. I hope you all remember about these three accounts: NRE account, NRO account, FCNR account. तीनों में क्या difference है? NRE account stands for non-resident external account. NRO account stands for non-resident ordinary account. So if you are a non-resident Indian, you can open up an NRE account, and in this NRE account you can deposit your foreign earnings. But when you will be depositing your foreign earnings, it will be deposited into this account in INR form, and you can make the withdrawals in India in INR form, and even you can transmit these funds back to the same nation from where the transfer was done. Let's say you are living in Australia, so if you want your funds back, you want to purchase a car in Australia, you can again repatriate the same deposits to Australia again, and you can use them. So these will be again converted into Australian dollars. From Australian dollars, they are converted into rupees. These are NRE accounts. But if NRI, is holding up an account, that is NRO account, where NRI's Indian earnings, for example, he is receiving, I would say, rent and all. So if he is receiving rent and all, that deposit will be done in the NRO account, and this is again an account which is in INR, that is Indian rupees account. So I'm talking about those accounts, that is NRE as well as NRO accounts. What is the difference between the two? सर इस अकाउंट से आप कितना भी पैसा वापस निकाल सकते हैं, इस अकाउंट से आप कितना भी पैसा वापस निकाल सकते हैं, इस अकाउंट से you can only take back the interest, but if you are taking up the principal, that is allowed up to $1 million per year. $1 million per year, this is the benefit. Or NRI opening NRE account, that is very beneficial for Indian government, because this will attract foreign currency to India. It will boost up the foreign currency reserves of the nation. Got it? Now, let's talk about these accounts. So, if I talk about NRE and NRO account, they are regulated under none other than Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. Interest rate on rupee deposit account. So, if I talk about the interest rate on rupee deposit non-resident account is, bank shall have the freedom to determine the maturity as well as tenure of deposit subject to the condition. Minimum tenure of NRE account is 1 year and minimum tenure of NRO account is 7 days. This is very, very, very important. Note these points down, that what is the minimum tenure time period for NRE account, that is 1 year. What is the minimum time period for NRO account, that is 7 days. 7 days क्यों? सर इंडिया का अकाउंट, इंडिया का पैसा इंडिया में है, इट्स ओके. बाहर से पैसा आ रहा है, सर वी डोंट वांट दैट इट शुड बी वॉलेटाइल इन नेचर. टुडे यू आर डिपॉजिटिंग द फंड्स इन योर NRE account and tomorrow you are closing down the account, and we as an Indian, we have to pay you the foreign currency. So we as an Indian authority, we don't want such level of uncertainty with us. So if you want to open NRE account, please open it and hold it for at least 1 year. Got it? Moving to the next point. The next point is, so differential rate of interest is offered on bulk deposit, that is allowed. Bulk deposit conditions are still the same: 3 crores, 1 crore, 1 crore, 15 lakhs. Then the next point is premature withdrawals. So premature withdrawals are allowed. Premature withdrawals are allowed. Same condition if your deposit value is up to 1 crore, but if your deposit value is above 1 crore, then premature withdrawals are not allowed. Premature withdrawals are not allowed. Please pay attention. Interest rate on NRE and NRO deposit shall not be higher than those the banks offer on comparable domestic rupee term deposit account. So banks should try to come up with a competitive interest rate for NRE and NRO account, because NRE and NRO account, these accounts, they are allowed in all the forms. You can open up saving account, you can open up current account, you can open up the term deposit account in the case of NRE and NRO account. And in this case, the interest rate which is going to be offered by the bank, that should be in accordance with the domestic, it should be in accordance with the resident opened accounts in the same bank. I hope that is clear, nothing new. Okay, fine. ठीक है. अगला point आता है सर, if I talk about the non-availability of premature, I guess this is repetition. Yes, this is the repetition. This is done. This is done. So the benefit of the additional rate of interest on deposit on account of being bank's own staff or senior citizens shall not be allowed. तो यहाँ पे ना तो कोई बैंक का स्टाफ होगा क्योंकि NRI है, और NRI सीनियर सिटीजन को भी कोई बेनिफिट एज सच नहीं दिया जाता. इंटरेस्ट क्रेडिट किया जाएगा सेम फॉर्म में. अगर सेविंग अकाउंट है, इंटरेस्ट विल बी क्रेडिटेड एटलीस्ट वंस in a quarter by the commercial bank, और saving account के केस में it should be credited in a quarter or more. In a quarter or more in case of cooperative bank. Same condition for NRE account as well. अगला point क्या आता है? The next point is, if NRE account holder come back to India. For example, I am an NRI and I was living in Australia. Now I come back to India. The moment I come back to India and I request you to convert my NRE term deposit account into the resident foreign currency account, then in that particular case, if NRE deposit has not run for a minimum period of 1 year, then interest shall be paid at a rate not exceeding the rate payable on the saving deposit. तो इसका मतलब क्या? आपने NRE account open किया, ठीक, आप इंडिया में वापस आ गए, आपने कहा सर इस अकाउंट को कन्वर्ट कर दो रेजिडेंट फॉरेन करेंसी अकाउंट. रेजिडेंट मतलब नाउ आई विल बी स्टेइंग बैक इन इंडिया, आई एम द रेजिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया एंड ओपन अप माय फॉरेन करेंसी अकाउंट बाय द कैटेगरी रेजिडेंट फॉरेन करेंसी अकाउंट. सो इंटरेस्ट रेट विल बी पेड अगर तो आपने ये अकाउंट होल्ड किया फॉर more than 1 year. If you have holded this account for more than 1 year, then you will be getting the rate of interest as promised. You will get the rate of interest as promised. But if you have holded this account for up to 1 year, क्योंकि आपका minimum time period या minimum tenure क्या था for NRE account? So the minimum tenure for NRE account was up to 1 year, and if you have not holded the account for up to 1 year, then in that case, rather than offering you no rate of interest, bank will offer you saving account rate of interest. So you will attract the same rate of interest which a saving account rate which is offered by the bank on the saving account. Is it clear? Moving on to the next point. The next point is penalty on premature. So no penalty shall be charged for premature withdrawal of NRE term deposit account for conversion into RFC account. So if you are converting your NRE account into resident foreign currency account, no penalty will be charged. Penalty for premature withdrawal shall be charged for conversion of NRE into FCNR. If you are converting your NRE account into foreign currency non-resident account, or if you are converting your foreign currency non-resident account which is available only in term deposit back into NRE account, then yes, penalty will be charged, but this is more important. No penalty if you are converting it. In case the claimant of NRE deposit, term deposit account of a deceased depositor are resident, अगर मान लो किसी इंडिविजुअल का अकाउंट था and this individual is non-resident Indian, he has opened up NRE account in India and we got a news that he has passed away in Australia only. If he has passed away in Australia, then the amount of NRE account will be given to the legal heir, will be given to the nominee. Let's say the nominee is residing in India. Let's say the nominee is residing in India. So this nominee will get the claim. This nominee will get the claim in the form of domestic rupee term deposit account. So in that particular case, on maturity, it shall be treated as what? It shall be treated as rupee term deposit account and interest shall be paid for subsequent period at the rate applicable to the domestic term deposit account. तो जितना maturity period है, मान लो 5 साल, तो 5 साल के लिए जो आपके domestic accounts पे जो rate of interest offer किया जाता है, the same rate of interest will be paid because it will be treated as resident, it will be treated as domestic resident deposit account. ठीक? Now moving on to the last account of the day. The last one is foreign currency non-resident account. Foreign currency non-resident account is basically a term deposit account which allows the non-residents to open up term deposit account in India, but they can open up these term deposit account in specific currencies only. If I talk about the, chalo, let me give you the homework. Give me the list of foreign currencies in which foreign currency non-resident deposit account can be opened. So I give you a hint, there are 6 currencies in which this account can be opened, and give me the list in the comment section after the video. Now what is the tenure? So if I'm talking about term deposit, in this case term deposit can be of different tenures. It can be 1 year minimum, 1 year to 2 years. I hope if you have studied mathematics and sets in the past, then you must be able to understand. Close bracket basically means 1 is included and 2 is not included. So from 1 year, greater than or equals to 1 year but less than 2 years, greater than and equal to 2 years but less than 3 years, greater than or equals to 3 years but less than 4 years, greater than or equal to 4 years but less than 5 years, and the last one is 5 years only because FCNR account can be of maximum timeline, that is 5 years. It cannot be offered for more than 5 years as a single deposit. In this particular case, no bank shall accept or renew FCNR deposit over 5 years and no recurring deposit shall be accepted. So पहली बात तो you cannot accept recurring deposit, no recurring deposit, only fixed deposit, and fixed deposit is also accepted for a timeline up to 5 years. For a timeline up to 5 years. अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि सर इन डिपॉजिट्स पे रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कितना होगा? इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, प्लीज पे अटेंशन. First of all, in case of FCNR, bank offers two types of rate of interest. One is fixed rate of interest, other one is floating. Other one is floating rate of interest. Fixed rate of interest comes up with a ceiling, and what is the ceiling? So the ceiling comes up with a ceiling in case of fixed deposit rate. The ceiling is overnight alternate reference rate, and in case of floating, the ceiling is swap rate. Don't worry, in a separate session I will be discussing with you what is OARR and swap rate, but for now just remember it. Interest rate on floating rate deposit will be revised on a regular interval of 6 months. So floating rates will be revised on a regular interval of 6 months. Remember that. What is going to be the deposit rate? If your deposit is for time period 1 year to less than 3 years, what will be the ceiling rate? So ceiling rate is overnight alternative reference rate plus 2.50%. Then 3 years and 3 years to 5 years, it will be ARR plus 3.50%. So interest rate ceilings on the FCNR deposits, please pay attention. So if I talk about the ceilings, one is with respect to OARR, fixed OARR, and the other one is swap rate. So please pay attention. What I'm trying to say, if you are opening up 1 to 3 years, of fixed rate of interest FCNR account, then what will be the rate of interest? It will be ARR plus 2.50%. If it is floating FCNR, then it will be swap rate plus 2.5%. If it is 3 to 5 years, in that case it will be ARR plus 350 basis point, means 3.50%. We know that 1 basis point is equals to 0.01%, and here it will be swap rate plus 3.5%. समझ आया? कहने का मतलब ये है कि फिक्स्ड रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट के केस में सीलिंग डिसाइड होगी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ ऑल्टरनेटिव रेफरेंस रेट, और फ्लोटिंग के केस में सीलिंग डिसाइड होगी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ स्वैप रेट. एंड व्हाट इज द फ्लोटिंग रेट? सब फ्लोटिंग रेट को रिवाइज किया जाएगा ऑन every 6 months. एंड हाउ द कैलकुलेशन इज डन? फॉर 1 to 3 years, in case of fixed rate, it is ARR plus 2.50 is the maximum interest. फ्लोटिंग के लिए स्वैप रेट प्लस 2.5, 3 to 5 ARR प्लस 3.5 एंड स्वैप रेट प्लस 3.5 फॉर 3 to 5 years. क्लियर हुआ ये पॉइंट? क्रूशियस माइंड, आई गेस आप पहली बार आए हो मेरी क्लास में, और अगर आप पहली बार आकर 15 मिनट रुककर ये क्वेश्चन पूछते तो शायद आप ये क्वेश्चन ना पूछते. पिछले 1 घंटे से, ऑलमोस्ट 1 घंटे से हम एक ही आरबीआई का सर्कुलर कवर कर रहे हैं. अगर एक सर्कुलर में 1 घंटा लगा रहा हूं और हर एक सर्कुलर को कवर करूंगा, तो आई गेस इससे ज्यादा ना तो कोई पढ़ा पाएगा, ना किसी और वेबसाइट पे जाकर आपको कंटेंट मिलेगा. सो आई गेस दिस इज द राइट प्लेस. स्टे विद मी, होल्ड टाइट, एंड यू विल बी इन अ पोजीशन टू आंसर मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस इन योर अपकमिंग एग्जामिनेशन. ठीक है जी. नाउ हाउ द इंटरेस्ट रेट इज कैलकुलेटेड? सर 360 days is used as a 1 year calculation. मतलब we are not calculating the interest rate for 365. Once 360 is done, calculation for 1 year is done. And once 180 is done, calculation for half yearly is done. Remember 180 and 360. Last but not the least is payment. So if you talk about the payment of interest on FCNR deposit of NRIs who return to India, so FCNR deposit on maturity shall be converted into resident rupee deposit account or resident foreign currency account if eligible at the option of the account holder. That means yes, at the time of maturity you can convert it, and if you are converting it, bank shall pay the interest rate at time of conversion, even if the deposit has not completed the minimum maturity period. So even if the deposit has not completed the minimum maturity period, but if you are converting your FCNR into RFC, then also rate of interest will be paid by the bank. Rate of interest shall not increase the rate payable on saving bank deposit if minimum time period is not fulfilled. If the minimum timeline is not fulfilled, in that particular case, rate of interest is going to be equals to saving account only. In case of premature, so yes, you are allowed to withdraw the premature withdrawals, but if you are withdrawing before minimum timeline, then no interest will be paid. If you are withdrawing before minimum timeline, no interest will be paid. Last is, what is the penalty? So rest all conditions are as it is. It is same. If you are withdrawing the funds before maturity, yes sir, penalty will be charged, and this penalty value is going to be calculated by board of directors. Penalty shall be clearly brought into the notice at the time of the deposit. Shall be clearly bring into the notice of the depositor at the time of deposit. Penalty shall be charged on premature withdrawal when depositors return to India for permanent settlement. For conversion of FCNR into NRE account, penalty will be charged. If you are splitting the account but you are not changing the aggregate amount and timeline, no penalty. If you are converting the account, you are not withdrawing, you are not making the premature withdrawal, but before maturity you are just converting your FCNR account into RFC, then also no penalty will be charged as per the latest announcements. Moving on to the next, banks are prohibited for certain conditions as per the given timelines. So bank are prohibited for all these tasks which are mentioned. I'll talk one very interesting task which I think is very important. Let's suppose bank is inviting you, one of the bank agent catches you on the road and asks you, so please open up a deposit account with us and we'll gift you Bluetooth speaker, we'll gift you smartwatch. Have you ever heard this? No sir. They gift you smartwatch, they gift you Bluetooth speaker only when you are opening up a credit card with them. Because if you are opening up a deposit account, bank can give you at max gift of 250 rupees. This is the only provision bank has to give you as a thanking note. If you are opening up a deposit account with the bank, that is up to 250 rupees as prescribed by IBA. As prescribed by IBA. Interest-free deposits will be accepted by the bank on current account. This you need to remember. Again, very, very, very important term. Guys, have you ever heard this point? If you have a fixed deposit with a bank, on that fixed deposit, you can borrow the loan. Any idea, guys? Do you have this idea that you can use your fixed deposit as a collateral? Say yes or no. You can use your fixed deposit as a collateral. Do you know this point? The answer is yes, sir. We know this. We have heard this n number of times. So if I say that you can use your fixed deposit as a collateral in order to borrow the loan, from the bank, but there is a condition. The condition is, in case you are borrowing loan against the FD, then bank will apply lien on it. Lien basically means legal authorization, that SBI will become the legal authority, that without SBI approval, no withdrawal from this FD is allowed. Now, is it possible that you are borrowing loan from ICICI Bank, but you are giving fixed deposit of SBI as a collateral? So that is not allowed. That is not allowed, which means, see, grant advances, please pay attention, grant advances against term deposit maintained with other bank, that is prohibited. Bank can't grant, bank is not allowed to grant advances against the term deposit which is maintained with the other bank. That means अगर FD आपकी SBI में है तो पहले अगर आपकी FD SBI में and you want to borrow loan from ICICI लोन नहीं देगा. ICICI कहेगा आप अपनी FD SBI वाली तुड़वा लो, पैसा मेरे पास ले आओ, मेरे पास नई FD बनाओ और उस नई FD पे I'll provide you with the loan. That is the condition which you need to remember. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? So these are some of the prohibitions which have been announced. I'm pretty sure each and every point related to each and every account, all the rate of interest conditions are crystal clear. सिवाय दो टर्म्स के, एक है ऑल्टरनेटिव रेफरेंस रेट और दूसरा जो टर्म है दैट इज स्वैप रेट, विच आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग वेरी सून इन द अपकमिंग सेशंस इटसेल्फ. अगर आज डिस्कस किया तो सेशन बहुत ज्यादा लंबा हो जाएगा. सो आई वांट यू टू जस्ट go through with this, and I'm pretty sure the way I am making these notes, you should also make these notes for yourself before going to bed today so that you can memorize the entire content in one go itself. Is it clear, guys? I hope you must have enjoyed the discussion. Do give me yes sir in the comment section if you have enjoyed the discussion, and if you haven't liked the session yet, do push the bell icon for upcoming sessions, for getting the notification of all the upcoming sessions, and do like the session before leaving. I hope the way I have prepared this PDF, it's going to help you a lot. जो point आपको note down करना है, I have highlighted all those points. Rest information which I have not highlighted, it's just for you to read it once so that you can have a better understanding. So note down वो करना which is highlighted. Rest is just for your reference. Refer it and do short notes for this particular session before going to bed today itself. Thank you so much for joining, guys. We'll catch you in the next session. Hope you have enjoyed the discussion, and I will be catching you all in the upcoming sessions to go. Request you to like the session before leaving and catch you in the upcoming sessions to go. Bye bye. Take care. God bless you all.